Hi, my name is Ben Sinclair. I'm an MPH candidate at Eastern Washington University, and this is another video in our series on using Epi Info. So in this video, we will create a 2 by 2 table. 2 by 2 tables are used when you're looking for an association between an exposure and an outcome, and uh, the exposure and outcome variables are binary variables, which means they're essentially yes or no variables. Uh, So let's go ahead and start up Epi Info here. And we'll use the visual dashboard to create our analysis. So we'll just click on the visual dashboard. It's loaded up here. So let's right click on the dashboard canvas and choose set data source. And then we can use this ellipsis box to choose a data source on the computer, or we can use this drop-down menu to use a data source that we've used recently. I'm just going to use this recent data source menu to choose the E. coli data and choose the food history form. This E. coli data it's a pre-made data set that comes with Epi Info, something you can use to practice with. So up at the top, we can see that the data source, it shows that the data source is loaded. It shows what your data source is. That's the food history form, and that there are 359 records in this data source. Alright, so this data source contains information about various symptoms people exhibited, whether or not they became sick after eating specific foods, and so it asks some food history questions. We're going to create a 2 by 2 table to look at those relationships between the food history and whether or not somebody became ill. So we can do that by right-clicking on the canvas, choosing the Add Analysis gadget and 2 by 2 table. Okay, and our outcome is going to be whether or not somebody became sick. So if we scroll down through the list of variables that are available, we see that ill is one. So we'll be determining whether or not they became ill after eating different foods. So let's just choose this American cheese right at the top. Okay, and we'll click Run. It takes a minute, and then this is what it gives us. So here on this side, we've got our 2 by 2 table. It shows the number of people in each section. It gives us tells us here that 77.78% of those who ate cheese got ill. But we can also see 76.83% of those who did not eat cheese also got ill. On this side, we have it gives us odds ratios and risk ratios, and lower and upper confidence intervals for each of those ratios. So this would be fairly time consuming to do this for every possible variable that's in this data set for every different kind of food. So what we can do is just come over here to defined variables, and if you just hover on this, it pops right out. Create new variable. We're going to create a variable group. And we're going to call our group field name foods. And then we just need to go down through and select the foods out of the list that we are interested in. So I'm holding the control button and scrolling my way through the list, selecting foods. Alright, so I'm not going to try to get through the whole list here. We've selected several, and that gives you enough to give you an idea here. I'm going to just continue through choosing the food variables to add to our group. So I'll click OK to go ahead and create that group. So now we can do is we can right click and choose Add Analysis Gadget and 2x2 table like we did before. I'm going to scroll the page down a bit here. Okay, our outcome is whether or not people got ill. This time for exposure, we're going to choose out of the list of variables, we're going to find our variable group that we created called foods, and it's down here at the bottom. And we'll click Run. Okay, let's pull this over here so we can see it. Now, as you can see, as we scroll down, that it has given us 2x2 tables for each of the items in our variable group, so that we can kind of scroll down, and we've run them all at once. Now you can scroll through and you can see the percentages and the odds ratios and risk ratios for the whole group. Also, right up here at the top left, we have this summary table that shows the exposure, which are the foods in the group, the outcome rates, risk ratio, odds ratio, and then upper and lower confidence intervals for our odds ratio. Clicking on any of these columns allows you to sort by that column, so we can say, you know, our highest risk ratio was for bean sprouts. If it's an odds ratio we're particularly interested in, if we click that column, it sorts them by odds ratio. We can see here a number of these are very high and have lower confidence intervals quite a bit above 1. And then selecting any of these in the list brings them to the top here. So we can click blueberries, and we can see blueberries here. So there you have it. That is a quick introduction to creating 2x2 tables and the visual dashboard. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.